Hey guys, welcome to When Spirit Talks, the podcast that explores the realm of spirituality. Now, today we're doing something a little bit different because we have just started 2026, and I know some of you have completed your vision boards for the year, but if you're like me and you have had so much going on in 2025 that you haven't gotten to it yet, this is your reminder to get it together and put it together. So I'm going to be sharing what a vision board is, how to put it together, and how to infuse it with the energy that calls in everything you want to manifest. Basically, what a vision board is, it's a mixture of images and symbols and pictures and words and statements that represent your goals and your desires, the things you aspire to receive in that current year. Now, you can do this on paper, you can do this on a board, you can do this on an app like Canva, but basically what it is it helps you keep track of your goals, the things you want to focus on, the things you want to receive for that coming year. And what it really does is it allows you to expand your motivation, to keep you on track, because once we get through completing the vision board, what happens is that life gets in the way. Life will remind you that you are busy, things get crazy, there are ups and downs. And when you have this vision board to refer back to, it's like a visual sign for you to remember what you started and remember what you wanted in the beginning of the year. Throughout all of the chaos, throughout all of the ups and downs, this will anchor you into remembering your dreams, your aspirations, and your goals. The thing I love about vision boards is that it actually helps you expand your clairvoyance as well, because you're using visuals, you're using images and statements, and you are placing them on some kind of document or board, and you are anchoring the visual with the association of what it is you want to manifest. So by anchoring yourself into this picture or this statement means I am receiving it in the future, you are cementing that pair, that association in your mind. So when you think of that visual, when you think of the thing that you want, and you have that mental picture in your mind, your body, your energy, your subconscious is already flowing and helping you get there. There are a few things that you want to include in a vision board, and everyone can make their vision board their own way. Anyone who works with me knows that I am all about personalizing your magic, your intentions, your goals, your healing. And so you can make your vision board any way you want to. Typically, what it includes are pictures. So you can add pictures of yourself, or pictures of places you want to go to, pictures of activities you want to do, pictures of things you want to receive, whether it's an item, whether it's a promotion, whether it is a gift. What you can do is grab a photo, take a picture of something, or use a photo that you find online somewhere to anchor that image into your board. And when you place it on your board, you are already setting the intention that you want to call that in. So for example, let's say you always wanted to take a trip. You always wanted to visit Ireland, for example. Side note, just somewhere I always wanted to visit. But okay, let's get back to it. Let's say you wanted to visit Ireland and you haven't gotten there yet, and you really, really want to call that into your life. What you do is you take a photo, or you retrieve a photo of somewhere in Ireland, and you place it on your board. Now, for this purpose, I'm just going to talk about putting it on a paper. So you're going to grab a photo and you're going to put it on the board. By physically placing the location of your desires on this paper that's representing pure possibility that the universe gives you. The paper, the board is representing pure, complete possibility. Things that are completely possible for you are the things that are going on this board. So once you place that photo of a location in Ireland on your board, you are signaling to the universe, you are signaling to a future timeline that this place is accessible for you to visit. The other thing you might want to include in your vision board are phrases or words that anchor you into the things you want to receive. So what I mean by this is sometimes people really relate to words more than pictures. They might have more of that clairaudient ability versus the clairvoyant ability that a lot of people who prefer visuals have. And so if you are someone who is more clairaudient, what you want to do is you want to use words and affirmations and statements on your board. You can also pair those with a visual to kind of make the association between both. But what you can do is, let's say you want to call in peace. Instead of finding a visual or a picture that represents what peace means to you, you can simply write the word peace on your board. Anything and everything you want to call in, you can literally just write on your board. It doesn't have to include visuals. So if you are someone who leans into reading and understanding words and communicating that way, use words and phrases. If you are someone who loves visuals and loves art, use images in your board, but use words and include words and phrases of the things that you want to call in. You might want to call in good health, happiness, freedom, expansion. And when you write these down and put it on your board, you are again signaling to the universe, to the page of possibilities, that that is what you want to receive. The other thing I love adding to my board is a theme that you want to focus on for that year. So every year we learn something. Every year our soul learns something new. Our soul learns a new lesson. And often that lesson is tied to your values. So if there is a value, if there is a belief or a purpose that you want to remember for the year, make that big, bold, and front and center. For example, my 2025 year, when I did my year ahead reading, which was in 2024, I discovered that 2025 was all about healing. What I learned from that and what I'm carrying into 2026 is the energy of harmony and celebration. I am so done with depletion. I am calling in activation. Okay, so for example, on my vision board, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place the word harmony and activation on my board. And the reason I'm doing that is because that is the theme I want to cling to this year. That is my purpose for the year. I want to remember the energy of activation and the energy of peace and harmony. Once you've determined the things you want to include in your board and how you are going to do that. Now remember, to do this, you're going to think about, what do you want to call in? What experiences do you want to have? What emotions do you want to feel? What experiences and goals do you want to meet? All of those things will go into your board. In order for it to work in the best way, what you want to do is integrate your energy, your future energy, into the energy of the board. And I know that sounds crazy and very woo-woo, but listen up. If you simply take a picture of Ireland, like I mentioned earlier, and you just slap it on your board, it doesn't work like that, guys. You need to tie in the emotional energy of the future into the present. And when you do that, you are telling the universe, remember, the open possibilities are being represented on that page or that board. When you tie in the emotions and your future desires you are tying in energy into the board. So instead of just finding a random picture of Ireland and pasting it on your board, this is what you want to do. You want to find an image that you are so drawn to. So the most beautiful, amazing image of Ireland that you want to visit, that is the image you are going to take. You're going to take that image. Before you put it on the board, you're going to do this. You need to connect with the emotion of receiving that wish. You need to visualize yourself in that specific place, in that specific photo, in the future. Visualize yourself there in Ireland already, in that place that you dreamt up, in that place that you want to visit. Picture yourself there. Sit there for a few minutes or as long as you can, just imagining what it would feel like, look like, taste like, smell like, feel like. Imagine it all. And then once you have that clear picture, once you have the emotions and the energy tied into that visual or tied into that word, that is when you set your intention and put it on your board. So to rephrase, you do not want to just take a random picture and paste it on the board and think that that's enough. You want to find a picture or a word that elicits emotion in you. You're going to take that emotion and you are going to create in your mind a future reality where you see yourself there in that moment. Then you're going to sit there in that energy for as long as you can. You're going to take it, you're going to open your eyes, and then you will paste it on the board. I suggest that you do that, tying the emotion and the energy into every single thing you put on your board, whether it's an emotion, whether it's a value, whether it's a goal, whether it's a person, place, or thing. Put it on the board, but before you do so, you need to anchor in the emotion and the energy of actually receiving it. Once you've fully created your board, and you don't have to put on a million things. If you want to focus on one thing, put one thing on the board. If you feel like you can multitask and you want to call in a variety of different things, go ahead and fill it up. Do whatever feels best for you and feels right for you. The next thing you want to do is, after you have organized your board, after you've felt all the feelings, after you've placed things where they want to be on your paper, you need to take the next step. Now, a lot of people don't talk about this when you're making a vision board, but it's something I really do believe in. The next thing you want to do is do a sacred ritual. This can mean different things to different people. Once you have your final product, once everything you desire is on the board, before you display it, before you put it up, before you walk away from it, I want you to think about what you can do in terms of a ritual to infuse the energy of possibility with your current energy and what that means. And I'll tell you an example of what I do. You need to set the intention that all of the work that you've just put into this vision board, all of that work, all of that energy, it is all connected to your current energy, to your current state, to your current desires. You need to connect the future with the present. And in order to do that, I'll tell you what I do. I light a candle, or I'll light some incense. I'll have a favorite crystal nearby, and I literally put my hands on the board. Since I love using Reiki to infuse any manifestations and any goals, I always include my Karuna Reiki symbols to do that, but you don't have to. The thing I recommend is that you put your hands on the board. And if you're doing this on the computer or on your phone, or if it's not a physical piece of paper that you can touch, just hold your hands over the screen. So either put your hands on the board or hold your hands over the screen representing the board that you've created. and just sit there and just notice what is coming up for you. What emotions, what feelings, what sensations, what visuals are playing around in your energy? What are you noticing? Don't judge what's coming up, just notice it. And then what you want to do is set your intention. You want to affirm and state and claim that the energy you put into this will come back to you. You set your intention that the goals, the desires, the things that you want to receive will find you in the right timing and in the right way and in the right place. And then when you set that intention, you let go. You blow out the candle, you blow out the incense, you cleanse your crystal, and then you display your board. Put it up in a place where you'll notice it. So if you have a digital board, put it up on your phone. Use it as a screensaver. Use it as the wallpaper. Save a photo of it in your photos. You want to have it available and accessible to you at any time. If you made a physical board, place it somewhere where you will see it. Specifically, if you could put it in your bedroom next to your bed, this way you can see it in the morning when you wake up and you can then see it again before bed. I've often noticed that the key times for manifestation are in the morning as soon as you wake up, before you're actually alert, and before you go to sleep, before you're actually fully asleep. It's those times in between consciousness that are ripe for manifestation. So now that you've chosen your place for the board, this is what you're going to do next. You're going to visualize yourself and anchor yourself back into the energy of the ritual you've created and the board you've created anytime you look at it. So make sure that when you look at the board, take 10 to 30 seconds to just feel yourself going through the process again. Feel yourself back in that place. Feel yourself achieving that goal. Feel yourself receiving that desire. Because here's the thing, manifesting is not wishing. Manifesting is where you embody the frequency of alignment. When you call things in, when you align your thoughts, when you align your energy, and when you align your actions to match the future outcome. And this is why I say it's so important to align yourself and your energy and emotions with the visuals or the statements or the things you add to your board. The last thing I want to mention is the letting go. It's important to let go of doubt, let go of feeling undeserving, let go of feelings of failure, let go of waiting and wanting, let go of urgency, let go of dependency. You want all of the things that you put on your vision board, but you need to remember that you don't actually need them. You need to put some distance in between the desire and the future outcome. And you let the universe do what it needs to do in between those two things. The universe will take your desire and manifest an outcome that you need. And if you remember that everything that happens to you is for your highest good, you are one step closer to receiving what you need to receive. And if you get to the end of 2026 and you've done this vision board and you've anchored into that energy and you've aligned your thoughts, your actions, and your energy into the outcomes on the board, and you still haven't received it, do not feel like a failure. Here's the thing, sometimes we don't receive what we want when we want to receive them. It might take a few more years before you can end up in Ireland where you really wanted to go. It might take time, but in your mind and in your energy, if you know deep down that you will receive what you want to receive in the right timing, in the right place, in the right state, you will receive it. And that is the most important thing I can say about vision boards. You are not a failure, and the ritual did not go awry, and you are not powerless. if you don't receive what is on your board. It just means that either A, you're not ready, B, there's something better out there for you, and C, the timing isn't right yet. And so you need to remember, when all is said and done, that you will receive what you need to receive when you need to receive it, and you will receive it in a way that is for your highest good. So I'd love to hear how you decide to go about creating your vision board. I am about to go do mine as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it with a friend, leave a comment, follow, and leave a review. I hope 2026 brings you everything you want, desire, and love. And don't forget, when Spirit talks, it's time to listen.